Hello and welcome to the Tech Voice podcast. And our topics for the night are about the latest Xbox news. So we're going to discuss the topics. And it's just me and Lee tonight. Before we start, Lee, do you want to say what games you're playing or anything you're looking forward to coming out in the near future?
Been playing a bit of Gears of War 5 for the PC, along with Barry
With
on
myself.
basically, yep, on campaign mode.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to maybe play a wee bit later as well.
I'm looking forward to more updates on Cyberpunk. I'm more if they go and implement some of the stuff they promise, or I like to see some of the free stuff they give you.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to maybe play a wee bit more of the medium. Obviously a bit more Gears of War 5 co-op with yourself. Maybe try and
I found this on the web.
get a bit more done. Sorry about that. And remember that what's that werewolf game we were talking about, Lee? Apparently it's out soon as well. Maybe.
I
Maybe
had
check
also
that
a vampire version of that game too.
out.
I was looking into it too.
Is that like the Vampire Masquerade or something? Or
Yes,
yeah, we'll have to look into that. That's coming out shortly, isn't it? Or is that maybe in the next couple of months? Not sure.
coming out in February sometime. I can't mind.
It's quite quick actually.
I'm not in a rush. I wait till it comes out and I might look into it.
See what's
I have
like.
it all on one wish list.
Wait for the reviews.
Wait for same sale.
True. Well, I'm different. I'll probably get it for console if I'm going to get it, but then I'll have to wait a bit longer for the sales. But sure, see what happens.
Yeah,
this,
streaming the sale.
yeah. So this here's just been recorded on the 1st to the 2nd, 2021. And so we'll go on to the first topic, Lee. And so these just sort of been things that have been on the headlines this last week or two we haven't got talking about yet. Have you seen much about this Bethesda announcing the new Indiana Jones game?
I only just really heard about it, never really looked much into it, to be truthful.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana Jones never really interests me much.
I know there's an old game, which we'll leave that for another wee topic down the list here, but so obviously it's made by the developers who make Wolfenstein MachineGames. So have you ever played a Wolfenstein game?
I played a bit of them on the old 360, but I never really actually bothered much after that.
I know the newer ones. Well, apparently,
Yeah.
well, but I hadn't missed. Some of them are better than others, But it'll be interesting to see. For me, because Indiana Jones is more of a, to me, it should be more like a Tomb Raider style or, like that sort of third-person game. Whereas Wolfenstein games are all first-person.
Vice British.
Will they take it that direction, or will they try and reinvent themselves to do a third-person game? It's possible they could do it. It's whether how well they can do it. That's
Well, if they
interesting.
have basically good developers and good game creators, they should maybe do it, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
If they have good success before in other games, it's always worth a chance.
They've obviously seen something in the developer and the engine. So, like, Bethesda has a good engine, so they do for their games. Like, they'll probably be using the same one that they use maybe for Doom or whatever. I think that's the same one they're possibly. At the end of the day, there's very little information out. We're just going to have to wait and see as to what. Maybe if we could get a wee bit of a trailer or an idea, but at the minute there's no information, so it's really hard. It's just one of those I want to sort of bring up and
What if they release a game demo?
Well, now this has only been announced, so this is like this game's going to be obviously years off. Like, so what games are developing now? What 3 to 5 years would you say? Depend on the game, obviously. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
So,
I'm still waiting on Elder Scrolls 6.
well, that's was announced years ago, and Starfield is it supposed to be out before it, and that hasn't even come out yet.
And Cyberpunk was announced 7 8 years ago.
Was it announced? We were looking at this, weren't we? It was announced. Was it a year or so before the Xbox One came out, roughly?
Yes.
And that was out in 2013, so that was 2012. So that's nearly, what was that, 8 years?
Yep.
That's mad. And it's maybe longer than that because maybe 8.5 years because if it was announced at E3 or something, that would have been the year, but before that, you know. It'll be one of those. To me, it'll be interesting to see. Will they take it on a third-person direction, like Tomb Raider style, or even like the Uncharted on the PlayStation, something like that, or will they try and do first person?
You should maybe try to do Uncharted kind of feel on it.
I think that as well. I think they should keep to the third-person style because it is sort of like an action adventure, and you're, you know, it's one of those games you want to see the character, because obviously I don't know what they're going to implement in it, but Indiana Jones is known for having his whip. Do you know what I mean? And sort of hand-to-hand combat, so I think it'll be a bit more. I think third person would suit it better, but if they could do something interesting with it, I would still play it if it's first person, but it'd be interesting to see.
I was thinking maybe they could do something what they did in what's the name of that game again? It's one of the games where you get basically the wire, and the bar basically set to the fatal or anything. You just use it to climb or set things together. It was always fun.
Mm-hmm. No.
Just Cause. Do you remember Just Cause 2, I think it was then?
Mm-hmm.
You had the wire, you can basically set two cars together or hang off buttons. That kind of idea.
Mm-hmm.
But the course is not going to be the same idea in general, but just a certain principle of it all.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine a whip, I'm just grabbing a branch or grabbing a rock.
To me, it'd be one of those films that you should nearly watch again and try and nitpick the stuff that he does in it, to try and come up with cool ideas from it, try and keep it sort of. I don't think this game's going to be like the actual films, the story's going to be different, I think, but it's going to do similar stuff,
Well, I remember watching a bit of Indiana Jones. It was Indiana Jones: The Lost Art.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if he wasn't in it, he wouldn't make any difference in the storyline.
But as Harrison Ford was big back then. Do you know what I mean? It was just the name they were putting to it, to help promote it more. But then it's like anything, if he hadn't been in Star Wars, it was unknown at that stage, so Star Wars, would have done well anyway. It's just one of those big films. But then, well, maybe if it doesn't cast, maybe it mightn't be the same. But it's hard. No, you're never going to know that, Lee. But it's just one of those games. We'll have to wait and see. MachineGames, the company who makes it or is going to make this game, is an interesting choice, and we'll have to see what way they take it. But obviously, as I was saying before, it's going to take maybe 3 to 5 years. And it was only announced this year, so you're talking, what's that, 24, 25, Lee? Or 26 before it's even out?
You never know.
Time. It's hard to know. But maybe they'll feed us a wee bit of information now to get, or maybe E3, they'll give us more information. Maybe they have a wee bit of something even to tell us, or maybe a wee bit of a clip or something, not even in-game footage or something, maybe, sort of. But probably still early for that at this stage, But we'll see. But even information based, would be good to find out more from it and what direction they're going. So, Lee, we're going to keep on this topic. So the next topic, obviously, I've written down here is: will Indiana Jones be an exclusive to Xbox or be multi-platform? The only reason I put that in is because of they're in the process of behind Bethesda at the minute, and apparently the deal's going to go between now and March or something. So, do you think this is a game that could be exclusive because of the purchase, or do you think this game could come to multiplat and maybe been in the pipeline for a while and not be exclusive, come to all the other consoles? It'll obviously come to Xbox and PC, or will it come to Xbox and PlayStation and PC as well? What's your thoughts?
Time will tell for me, but I think Microsoft might do a time exclusive on it. They might keep it for a year on the Xbox platform, but it might be on the PC. Because, Microsoft will try and do that.
See, I'm a bit torn, but it depends on when the deal was made. I know what I would like. I would like it to be exclusive for the fact that Microsoft needs their exclusives, and they need... Obviously with the purchase of Bethesda, this game's going to go into Game Pass day one, so that's
I know what you mean, but it all depends what contract Bethesda has with PlayStation. So you have to remember that too. They're always going to be contracts.
Well,
maybe Microsoft has to honor.
Obviously, this is this is a deal that's brought from LucasArts to obviously to the developers. So it depends where they have said if they want the game to be on all the platforms, not as well. So there's a more behind. I personally feel that I would like it to be exclusive because Microsoft needs exclusive games. I know Indiana Jones is not maybe the biggest IP, but if they can do the game justice and maybe help promote the film, or to bring Indiana Jones back into
I know what
So
you mean.
now,
Basically, if say Microsoft did have Indiana Jones as exclusive, it could maybe match Uncharted.
well, it doesn't even have to reach for me them levels, but at least if it's a good, solid visually and a good gameplay game, you know what I mean? You know, a good platform game. That's what they're lacking on, I think. You know, because a lot of people want them style of games, like exclusive to
Casual game
Xbox.
and something you can put on for an hour and have a bit of fun on, and not
Aye, but
be too
something.
bogged down.
Yeah, aye. Something you just put on, enjoy. Like, we were playing Gears of War the other night, we weren't taking it serious, we just enjoyed running around, killing, bit of crack, you know. Something different as well, you know, not just the normal, like maybe, you know, something interesting with the whoop and, you know, been a while since I watched an engine. I'm just having a wee bit of a
Like,
mind blank here, like,
I'm
but
grabbing a rock and just hitting the
aye,
person with it.
aye, you know, he does a bit of gunplay, not a lot, you know, but a wee mixture of combat and gunplay and whoop and, you know, fist combat and, you know, just, you know, a lot of, maybe a wee bit of puzzle solving because he's all in a lot of tombs and stuff. I'm not saying I want maybe a lot of that, but a wee variety, you know. Different things, you know, and tombs, maybe open world area. Nice wee open world area, get into tombs like Tomb Raider and things like that, you know. Think.
I
So,
myself and definitely have done it right.
yeah. I think personally, right, I'm going to finish off this topic, go to the next one, but I think I would like it to be exclusive. It will come to Game Pass day one, but I would like it to be exclusive, but I feel it might be more multi-platform or timed, like you say, and then come out in PlayStation later. It depends on where the deal was done. I think that's what I think will happen, but I would like it to be exclusive. You know, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, they could turn around come March or whatever, this deal goes fully through with Bethesda, and Microsoft just might lay out in the line and say, look, all our games that we're producing, bar like either that one or remember there's 2 games coming out in PlayStation 5 that are exclusive, so they've held up their end of the bargain. They're going to let them deals go through as normal, you know. So we'll have to wait and see. I think after that stage, after March, they're going to maybe be a bit more open about it and give us more information as to what's happening. Maybe.
I think it'll be the next couple of years before Microsoft can make their own exclusive games on Bethesda.
Well, it depends. What, you know, people are wanting to know, are the games that's currently in development, like Elder Scrolls 6, like Starfield, like the next Fallout game. Obviously, the next Fallout game is going to be years off because we haven't even got Elder Scrolls 6 at this stage. But you know, I think they need to start telling people, you know, because like, you know, like this Indiana Jones and all the, you know, Elder Scrolls and all that's coming out. Like, people wants to know, and I think they probably know themselves. It's just they can't say until this deal's fully finalised, you know.
Yeah. Let's just hope the next Elder Scrolls are not ridden with bugs.
Are you in agreement with me about the exclusive? You know, so you think it's going to be more multi-platform or timed rather than fully exclusive?
I think it's probably going mostly time if it's going to be anything. But I say first choice would be time or multi-platform. It's not going to be exclusive.
I would like, personally, because I'm using Xbox, I would like it exclusive because Microsoft needs that, but I don't feel this one probably will be. You know, and it depends what sort of deal that LucasArts and Disney has put in place with them. You know, as well.
Yeah, remember too, Disney like to make their money, so it'll probably be more time or multi-platform.
Yeah. We'll run this into the next topic as well. So obviously, Games with Gold, I'm not going to read out the full what I've written down here, but Games with Gold have announced their games that's coming in February. So I've noted here Gold and Game Pass, and I'm not sure which one's for Game Pass, but on here, Gears of War 5, Resident Evil, Dandara, Trials of Fear Edition, and obviously Indiana Jones and Emperor's Tomb. So that was a game I sent to you. They brought out 1 year ago, and that one was exclusive, as far as I can remember, to Xbox at that stage. And then obviously Lost Planet 2. But the only reason I've put this on, Lee, is because it's funny that they've announced this game recently, right? And now all of a sudden for February's Games with Gold, that they've got this Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, the old game, free on Gold, you know, to everybody subscribes. Like, you know, it's quite, you know, because, you know, they might have knew about this a while. You know, if that was going to be in, you know, February's Gold, you just don't say in January that you're, oh, this is announced and it's coming. Well, let's put this in, you know, less than a month later. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's quite. I think there's a bit more than coincidence to this. I think there's maybe more to this whole thing.
It could be planned, or it could be just a happy accident.
I don't think so. I think it's more planned. To be honest with you, I think this is to get maybe a bit interested in Indiana Jones. People maybe, oh, there's a new Indiana Jones game. Oh, this one's exclusive to Xbox. Let's download and try this and see. So this is what I would like it to be exclusive to Xbox, and that's the only thing that they've had it before. So why can they not have another Indiana Jones exclusive now? In the next couple of years. But that's interesting. But there's some good games in that as well, Lee. That's free with Games with Gold. Free with Gold. Gears 5, Resident Evil. I don't know what that Dandara one is. Trials of Fury Edition. And obviously Lost Planet 2. I played that years ago on the 360 and that was quite good. Quite enjoyed it. So I did. Haven't much to say. It was just more the coincidence of Indiana Jones. I don't think it is a coincidence, but it's funny that it's there less than a month later, free. On Gold.
Could be Microsoft showing off that they have it exclusive and Sony doesn't.
Maybe. But that's what's wrong. Microsoft needs the exclusives, and this is the problem. It's alright making games with your studios, but if they're going to be on multi-platform, it defeats the purpose. You need to draw, the people to the console. They don't care where you play on a console or PC, but they need to draw the people to their console. You don't want to be putting these games on other consoles.
Well, all our games that Microsoft have made years ago, and they never redone them again.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of annoys me because some of the games were actually quite good.
I bet you if you look into their vault of IPs, like they've IPs that they own, but they've disbanded the studios. I'd say they've got probably a big back catalogue of stuff there that they could use.
Like this one game I have played recently, it's old. It's Spring Commander. I'm playing the expansion of the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. It has some issues, bugs and stuff. This old game, so
it's going to have
it's going to be. It's old. Mm-hmm. But I enjoy playing it. The map is massive. It gets a good long time to get anywhere on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's about good. I played the campaign missions on it, beat them all, and I've done mostly skirmishes, just playing against AI. Mm-hmm. Well, they never outsmarted me yet. It's quite sad, in fact.
Yeah. I'm just realising I missed out one topic there, Lee, but do you know what I'm going to do? Is I am going to remove it, and I'm going to put it near the end. I'll maybe get through the other stuff first, if that's okay.
That's okay.
Maybe... Do you know what? I'm going to put it at the end. That'd be a good one, maybe to finish off on. So, just remember it's there. Not much to say on that one, as I said. It's just sort of interesting. I think that some of the games are good that's on it. For people maybe who haven't got like the likes of Gears 5 is obviously free in Game Pass, and at least now you can get the base game for free. If you want to buy it, then you can to get the Ultimate Edition or whatever. But it's just note that about. I was just trying to link all these topics that's Indiana Jones just to try and sort of maybe make sense of it. But because we've very little information, it's hard to. We're just sort of more speculating at the minute.
There's a lot of games I like to play, but unfortunately they never be released again.
I'd like to play Black or White 2 again.
So do I. I was disappointed when I heard that. But he makes it again. Lion Studios. Lionhead Studios.
It's disbanded by Microsoft, I think it was.
Oh, there they go. That's another game Microsoft have. Why didn't they make a third one off?
But I think the problem as well. Even though there might be rights as well with other companies. They might have like dual rights as the problem. Maybe we should do a podcast on that some night, Lee. Well, maybe old games that we like and what we maybe want to bring back. But
it's too many, dude. You'd be there all night.
But not a whole pile, but maybe like our best ones, the top maybe 5 each or something, or 10 each or whatever, like depending on how many we can come up by,
But my problem is, is always RTSs and all those God games.
But we've a variety, try and do something, We'll see.
We see.
Next topic, Lee. So, the Xbox Series X just got another 120Hz compatible game. Now, I'll be honest with you, I have not played the game yet. I'm sort of on the fence about it, but
I've seen the game advertised on Game Pass. It's just,
it's
alright, but
online
it's an MMO.
See, I like more single player and co-op games, whereas it's all online always. The only reason I'm noting this is obviously it's free in Game Pass, which says here, that's what it's called, Sea of Thieves. But it's good that they're getting more games like this, not just like your wee indie games up to 120 hertz. Obviously we've got Gears of War now. There's not too many that's sort of that caliber that are at that so many hertz. So it's good to see that there's more games getting it. But the only thing for me is at this point is the only games that are getting it are like your online multiplayer games. Like Gears of War 5, you only get it when you're playing online. Your co-op or your single player or Horde I don't think is 120 hertz. So it's only like the multiplayer aspect of it.
Yeah.
But then I suppose if anything and co-op or single player, you don't need anything beyond 60 frames really, do you? It's more for the multiplayer.
But you have to remember too, a lot of games are going online and multiplayer and
see this where the bulk of
single players dying.
I know. I wish it wasn't. There's a lot of people do like single player. Like if you look on the PlayStation side, a lot of people play the single player games that don't play multiplayer. We just need more people on Xbox that like that as well.
There's one thing that ruined Forza Horizon 4 for me. I do like it because you can play co-op and stuff, but I wish it was a true single player. I said no online, just completely.
I think it's too intertwined or integrated with the single player and the multiplayer. It's a wee bit sort of not confusing, but it just. I would like it more to have it single player, but obviously the way they've done it, it's always online as well. You can turn it off to a degree, but it's not the same.
It's just not fair on people who have bad internet connections because the game doesn't work right then.
I know. When I have bad internet, I have problems even using it.
Yeah.
Now that's another issue.
I don't have bad internet, but even I prefer to play single player.
True. Not much to say again this topic. I'm sort of going through these to try and make this not as long a podcast, but it's just noting that we're starting to get the games at 120 hertz, which is good. I know probably personally myself will not get the use out because I don't play multiplayer, but it's good that we're getting this on a console. Instead of having to buy a PC to get these 120 hertz. But then at the end of the day, the other problem is that most people that are playing on PC will have a monitor that supports that, whereas if you're playing on a console, you mightn't have a TV that supports that. It's the problem. So you might have to either buy an expensive TV or go to a monitor to play your games at that to get that. So it has its benefits and its drawbacks. It's good that we're getting it, but for you to make full use of that, you're going to need the TV or monitor for it.
I've seen some of the affordable TVs. Some of them are mostly 50 hertz, maybe 60 hertz.
I never. It's very hard to get 120 hertz now without anything under £1,000. You're not going to get the full feature set for.
Not unless you know somewhere that sells old stock.
True. Or get a really discounted down one, like a second one or something. Like a used one.
No. I'm like talking about 2019 high-end model. You get maybe, but those are hard to come by nowadays.
Well, I think the 2020 models are the only ones that've got the full features that like your VRS and your 120 hertz and all the features that's needed. Because pre that there's only TVs with certain features. You don't have the full things that's needed for next gen. But we'll have to wait and see. But the only reason I put this one in is, to me, it's showing that there's starting to get more games available. Now I know it's more first party games are getting this, but I just hopefully they'll start the multiplats. We get this as well. I think, is it Gears of War, Call of Duty has it, multiplat. I think they have a mode that's 120 hertz maybe, and the new one.
Probably FIFA 2.
Well, but then what are you really doing in FIFA? There should be, technically.
Well, FIFA is just the same game every year, so I don't see any difference on it.
Like, they technically could or should have it,
Yeah.
Would you try?
Some cost that payments might be really ridiculous.
Yeah. Would you ever try Sea of Thieves, Lee?
No, not personally. I looked into it. I was tempted to download it when I first got the Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
It looked interesting, but then the more I read, the minute I found it was online only, I kind of like, nah.
That's what put me off as well. I would like to try it, even there's like a single player mode to it, like even try it, like test it out and then see. But if it's, that's I don't have the time to be sitting down and playing a multiplayer game all the time. I like trying new games, so single player co-op, or does suit me, like, to be honest with you.
I'm still working through my list of games I meant to play on Steam. I'm like only, I think, 3 games in, and that's like since last year.
Frig. Need to get the finger out, Lee.
The list is getting longer, that's a problem.
I know there's more and more games keep coming out, the more you want to play, and then when you're getting maybe a game or two, then the older games sort of get pushed back a bit, as well at the same time.
Yeah, I have some games I bought I wanted to play big time, then I bought them time my old PC was all about. I played it on my new PC.
Mm-hmm.
I had my PC built, new one built since last year. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Skip on to the next topic.
Alright.
So obviously, I don't know if you know much. Obviously, the features for the RDNA 2, like obviously VRS and all. So they've tier 2 support now, Lee, and so like Gears Tactics and Gears 5 are going to get that implemented, and apparently I think it gives like a 14% boost. So all these features, so the more features they can get sorted and worked and get working right, we are going to see these better boost performance, like, so for Gears of War 5 and Gears Tactics, like, we're going to get more near the PC, spec, or the PC performance, should I say, is a better word for it.
Yeah, but if that all works out, but the PC will also gains all that too, so which means even better again.
Well, but that's all a bonus, like, to a console as well, and a PC, you know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah, at least the new consoles are very PC-like, with having proper CPU and GPU graphics on them.
Like, you can have these features, and I know they're not fully utilised yet, but over time we're going to get better and better. All the features are going to get
it's still a new
console developed. So once the developers, like, obviously Microsoft gets these new features sorted out and gets better supported, then games are going to get them supported. So it's just going to get better and better, and the games are going to be enhanced, and they're going to run better. For a £450 console, if they can get a 14% boost in performance in a game from one feature, I'm all for it. Bring it on. Bring on the next feature to get upgraded, or a tier 3 of this, whatever, what's next. I'm all happy for it. Like, I'm just glad that we're starting this early on, considering the console is only out, literally. It's only been out a couple of months. And the features were only finalised, was it June of last year? So, like, it takes time, to get these up and running and properly supported. Go on ahead.
I know. No, I just get time to do a lot of work, like out there, getting all the features built in, and if they already got the game, as I say, mostly done, now they're more wit and they redo some aspects of the game again. Like, so lots have been held back.
There's been a lot of debate. Obviously, I'm just going to talk about this now when I'm here, but there's been a lot of debate, obviously, with PlayStation 5 and Xbox, and there's a lot of people, like, obviously, Microsoft have been touting this as, the most powerful console ever, because it's got a bit higher spec than the PS5. Then, when it finally came out, and then games are running better on the PlayStation 5. But, for me, obviously, and then they're all saying, that they keep saying about the fanboys, are saying, like myself, maybe, or something, that they're all, because the feature set's not ready. That's like our excuse as to why the game's not running better. But, like, the PlayStation 5 was designed and was supposed to be out in 2019. Obviously, it was pushed back for whatever reason. So their console had been designed and ready a lot longer than Microsoft's Xbox Series X, right? So their toolset had been worked on earlier, so they had defined what that was going to be, and they had matured that toolset, whereas Microsoft only finalized theirs last year, like not even 6 months, but probably before the console was out, and Sony's has been planned about since 2019. So like, we're only starting now a couple of months later to see the games be more on par, and if they keep doing what they're doing, I think they're going to go on beyond. I'm not saying they're going to be like 50% better performance in the Xbox compared to the PlayStation 5. There's not that much bigger performance gap. So, like, if you can get that 14%, 15%, say, on every game, like, it's a bonus. You know, they mightn't be 15%. It could be more like 10 or whatever. But do you know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah, I know.
Toolset.
But the biggest laugh I have with the PS5 and the Xbox might look like a B square box or a fridge, as some people call it. Every time I see the PlayStation, it just reminds me of a tower fan or a really crappy internet router.
That's a big Brit too, dude.
It's not just that. Like, you find it would sign it better.
Well,
it's just not my cup of tea.
No, I have it, but it's just like I wouldn't be that fussed on the design, and it's a bit even lopsided. It's not even like at one side it's like straightly, and the other side's like at an angle. You know, because the disc drive, I want the digital version, and there's no disc drive, and then it's just like it's. I must get a picture of the few different consoles and send them to you see what I mean. You know.
Do you like the picture I sent earlier of the Bolton?
That was funny.
That's actually is a real Bolton, by the way. I edited it, of course, you know.
Alright, hi. I thought I'd seen there was something in the background. But do you see what I'm saying about obviously the feature set's been not ready? Do you agree with what I'm saying, Lee, or do you think
I agree with you to a certain extent. I agree with you that Sony had a console ready, had everything almost ready for it. Where Xbox kind of like
a year more, maybe.
Yeah. But again, time will tell. They sold both new consoles until.
There's obviously PlayStation's going to get increased as well as time goes on. They're going to get better support.
But here's the thing: they're on about basically the games run better, but then here's another thing I was listening. Like Xbox use what SSD.
Yeah.
Then the PS5 use M.2.
No, it's still an M.2 that they're using. On the Xbox, but it's more like a Gen 3 boosted to Gen 4, whereas the PlayStation 5 is more a Gen 4 fully. So I know what you're saying. I know right. Can I take the words out of your mouth and then you can say? So you're going to tell me why is games that's right? So Microsoft console, what is it? 2,400 speed megabits per second, and PlayStation's is it 5.5 without obviously. I'm not talking about the full compressed, but the raw speeds, the raw data. So you're going to say to me, PlayStation's is double the speed, but yet the loading times are not double, or twice as quick. There's only maybe like a second or two on it at the most. So if a game boots, a game in the PlayStation 5, say for example, boots at 7 point something seconds, right? That same game on the Xbox, the PlayStation 5 boots at 7 seconds. Like Xbox maybe boot at 8 seconds. So there's only a second or so a difference. So why are they not getting this extra performance from a double the speed hard drive or more?
It's the PlayStation software is lagging behind the hard drive.
Let me ask you another question. Do you think if Sony fixed the PlayStation 5 software, do you think they could get it to potentially run or load the games or whatever twice as fast?
Not necessarily if it's a core problem. Sure, a lot of Windows at 10. We try SSDs and M.2s, and M.2s are not getting the same speeds that they're quoting, even though a couple of different ones. So its software is lagging behind. It's just they may have to update it or do a complete rebuild.
But then, obviously, if you think over time, PlayStation, if they do fix their software to a degree and speed it up, but do you not think that Microsoft then could enhance their software and their design better as well to try and combat?
Oh yeah, they can enhance the files better to make them run faster, be less data in them, compress them more. PlayStation need to work on other aspects too. It could be some of their memory chips damage.
I wouldn't say they're damaged, like maybe just...
No, it's like any SSD or M.2, you never get the full speed quota on the box.
Well,
you know that from experience.
But then you need, you're never going to tell that unless you have something that you can measure that with to run a program.
And the consoles don't have that software available.
That's the problem as well. So you think there could be a variation? So say if you had 20 people testing that game at the same one after the other, do you think they're going to get that same speed out of every console? Or the same milliseconds?
No, it'd be
that takes speed up?
variations.
Yeah.
It could be. It all depends on the console too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Try the digital one, try the disc one, get 20 of each, and see which one.
Well, I don't think that matters because, well, as far as they said that it's the same console, the only difference is there's just no disc drive. You know, everyone else is the same.
Sony, I don't really like getting their word
Considering
on it.
we've got two different fans. That's not
Yeah.
on that. This is Xbox.
And a complicated cooling system.
These topics.
It's pipes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I fight Sony to learn off some of the, cooling systems off PC.
Yeah,
It's just taught to not. Oh.
I do it right. You know, I talk to a proper person. Yep. Have you more to say on that subject? Or are you happy enough, Lee, at the moment? I think.
On the subset of basically the upgrade in the performance, I actually quite happy. It's still teething. They're still teething all that problems out. So give it another year and see what it's like.
Mm-hmm. That's usually a year or two on the life cycle of the console when they start to
I just hope it comes to more single player than multiplayer.
Aye. Well, obviously, if this is a feature that's built into it, it's going to be it'll benefit both. So it will, it's just the overall performance of the game. I think it's more like the hurt side. It'll benefit more multiplayer. The previous topic. But like as you say, we'll have to wait and see. The next year or two will tell the tale on the two consoles to see if they're sort of running on par. It'll be interesting to see.
Hey, what mid 2022? Do you see any nice games coming out?
Well, let me throw a spanner in the works for that for you. So you're saying that, but as long as the games are still being developed for both, we're not going to get the full next generation experience, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? The game, they're going to be more
I don't like that idea. What's the point bringing a new console and it's going to be played on the old one? Sure, that what happened to Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the reasons why a lot of people hated that game was because it couldn't work on the PS4 or the Xbox One.
Mm-hmm. Microsoft have said that they're going to support the Series X or the old consoles for a year to 2 years. So you're talking end of 22 at the latest.
Yeah, it's a 23 maybe.
No, 2 years. It's out last year, so then a 22 like. So that's another a year. Will be this year. So anything that comes out sort of at the end of 22 and after would hopefully be exclusive to the next gen consoles and PC, obviously. But we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Halo's come out this year, but that's going to be designed for all consoles. Is it going to make that big a difference? The games are not exclusive to the next gen versus the games are you know what I mean? It's just features and stuff. And
it's just going to be more hassle for the game developers because they have to make two different versions.
Because you don't have to worry about the load speeds from the old hard drives to the new ones. Things that probably loading screens and stuff will be a benefit. It will benefit, but I don't think it's going to be as mind-boggling as what people think it's going to be. They think it's going to be fully exclusive to next gen only. They're going to get these massive masterpieces.
Well,
of games.
there's no way to look at it too. If you look at it from the PC aspect, how many different variations from PC components you got?
You're not even worrying about hard drives alone. All the different variations of CPUs, GPUs, motherboards.
RAM,
different variations of RAM and everything. So, they have a lot. They complain about having the Xbox and this. Well, obviously there's an Xbox One, an Xbox One S, One X, and then obviously you have the Series S and Series X. That's only 5 variations that they have to design it for. Whereas if you're designed for PC, that's a lot more testing, a lot more hardware you have to take into consideration.
Where
do you draw the line when you're making a PC? How old do you want to make that game? What hardware do you want it to run on? Do you go back 5 years, 10 years? It's more difficult to say it than that, but you know what I'm saying?
In my opinion, when I upgraded my old PC was AMD 965 Black Edition.
Yep.
It was only 3.4 gigahertz quad core. I know, it was running 8 gig RAM and had a HDD on it.
Yeah, I was still running games till recently.
I was still running most of the
newer
games
stuff.
I play.
Witcher
3, GTA 5.
But you
Even
know,
my old graphics card was running them.
but when you went from that old core system to the new cores, that you could even with the same GPU, you could notice the difference and feel the
Aye,
difference.
because I upgraded the CPU in my
Yeah.
not CPU GPU in my old system. I think 4 or 5 years ago.
Even when you had your old CPU, but with your new GPU, you could even notice the difference going from that old CPU to the new one.
Oh yeah, there's a big difference. Like my old.
I'm not saying it enhanced the graphics, Chrissy, but you noticed like the frame rate higher and
Aye,
the
some of the older
performance of it, like
games
it
and
run more
some newer
smoothly.
ones.
You know.
Like
Mm-hmm.
GTA, I was able to run that in mid-level graphics. Witcher 3 was running on high.
Mm-hmm.
On my CPU was total crap for it.
So you could probably get the next level or two up higher now because of
Oh,
the CPU. Well, depending
now
obviously
if
on the game. If it's a more CPU intensive game, you benefited more.
well,
If
I
it's
was playing
GP,
GTA 5 there when after I built my system. I was playing it on Ultra
but
with the
that's a
same
very
GPU.
well. I think it's a bit of both. That because it's CPU and GPU, because the open world like it takes a lot. There's a lot to that game. That needs the both.
The big difference in CPU now from 965 to a 3700X.
So if you can think of an Xbox One CPU to the Series SX CPU, like there is a big difference, and that's why we're seeing all these better frame rates.
Yeah, see that's the problem too. Like, it's just going to be more annoying for the developers because game console might be straightforward.
I'll be honest with you, like, you know what I mean? 1 to 2 years is okay, like, anything beyond that, like, Sony have said that they're going to support for 3 to 4 years, which I think is a wee bit much. Like, you want to try and, well, at the start they weren't supporting them at all, going by the way they market it, but
Well, the
I think
thing with
it's a bit
Sony
too
is
long.
I never get their word.
I know,
I
that's
wait
the
and
thing.
see.
Well, the only thing is, Microsoft might cut it off in 2 years, and Sony could just turn around and say, well, we're doing the same. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, we'll
I
see what
never get
happens.
Sony in their word and a lot of their
Well, ever since
stuff
I
that
heard
they.
that Jim Ryan saying that he believes in generations, then he turns around and says, "Oh, by the way, they're coming to PlayStation 4 as well." Like the games. I don't know. I just can't stand the man. But anyway.
I can understand if the games already was in development and already made for that console. That's understandable.
But
But
the way he promoted it and said that if you want to play exclusive games next generation, you have to play it on PlayStation 5 because they're only going to. Well, he didn't say that they weren't common. It's just the way he portrayed it that you can only play them on a PlayStation 5, but yet for the next 3 to 4 years are coming out on both, which he failed to mention to the last minute, and just he misled the whole marketing. He didn't lie, but he didn't tell the truth. He didn't tell the whole story, and it just led people into a false. Of what they thought they were getting.
I wait and see with the PlayStation.
Aye, At least Microsoft's trying to be more open and honest, and granted, the silly stuff that they do, obviously that whole Xbox Gold debacle, that's a different story. But they backtracked anyway when enough people said, about it. So. Right, will we roll on to the next topic, Lee, because we're a wee bit longer in than I thought. So I think you had mentioned this earlier, did you? And I thought I forgot it was in here. So, Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 chip shortage will continue on till mid 2021. AMD warns. Now, I think I've read another article since I read the topics. Microsoft have recently said that there's going to be stock shortages up to mid, and AMD I think had said up to September potentially. I could be wrong. I think that's what I read. I think that's mad, dude. Like the consoles at that stage, if it happens, so that's mid, so that's until June, right? The consoles have been out for what? The Xbox has been about 7 months and 3 weeks at that stage, roughly.
Yep.
That is crazy. Like, even the last generation, that there was no... Like, when the Xbox One came out to PlayStation 5, even with the pre-orders, they were able to sort out the pre-orders plus have stock for shelves and stores. And we're talking 7, nearly 8 months later, we can't even go into a store and buy one. Or just go onto a website and say, oh, there's stock available, let's order one now. There must be.
See, it's not just that. There was a lot of ones being net off delivery companies too.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was that debacle in August. Someone was able to order PS5s before it was even online.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of issues with it, just from distribution, delivery, and somehow online retailers, or not online, but retailers somehow selling consoles before they even put them up for sale.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of issues surrounding that. That's just with the consoles themselves.
Mm-hmm.
AMD have problems in with their own CPUs and GPUs.
Mm-hmm.
Like you try to buy a 6800 XT, see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get one.
Let me throw something into the mix here as well. So I was reading earlier. Now I haven't put this in. I maybe should have put this in. So I was reading an article on to do with place. I know this is more Xbox topics, but this still relates. So they were saying that, say for example, I don't know what America would have got PlayStation wise. Would they got 2 million? Just for an example, say they get 2 million, right? Throw it out to you, Lee. Right? What percentages do you think scalpers got out of that? You know, the consoles that were sold in America.
60%.
No, well, it was only 10 to 15% they were saying, but if you take 15% of 2 million consoles, dude, that's 300,000 consoles were bought and sold for higher money than they should have been.
Oh, I know.
You know, that's a lot of money, and like some of them are going for double the price. Like, so, you know, like that's a lot of money wasted on because people are taking advantage of our people. I think it's a pure and utter disgrace. Like, you know, 300,000 people out of 2 million, that's madness. I think my calculations are right. But like,
well, I blame the retailers and also
the people
Sony themselves.
Well,
Sony,
I think I agree with you, but disagree. I blame everybody, because if you blame like Microsoft and Sony should maybe be talking to retailers to sort this out more. But I also blame the people that are buying from the scalpers, that are enabling this. You know, that are promoting them. You know,
yeah,
they're getting away with it. They, you know, if they said no to the scalpers, they wouldn't do it because they'd buy all the consoles and they couldn't sell them anyway. They'd have to sell them for the same price.
what should happen in my ideally world? Sony should just deliver strictly to the retailers. Retailers only sell one console per person.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on.
But there's people getting around that way, so I will say they're, you know,
Yeah.
this is what they're doing. You know, there's what they're finding loopholes and tricks to get the purchases. You know, taken away from other people. Like they're getting in as soon as the stocks. Well, we touched on this in the last podcast. They're getting in there and getting them bought. You know, when they're just being put on straight away, or they're being able to force them into the basket and buy them somehow. You know, and them not even live. You know,
that's what I'm saying. I say ideally world.
Yeah.
Or I also wish other
mm-hmm.
third party sellers like eBay and stuff and more other online.
There should be a limit on what they can sell them for on that. So there should.
Yeah.
And maybe
eBay should maybe lock down a lot of accounts.
Yeah, and maybe backhanding us from businesses, you know, selling them to other people, you know, to do that, because they maybe just say, like, of so many, I'll, you know, maybe they give them a wee backhander and say, like, I'll give you a wee bit extra, you know.
It's not hard to bribe someone in a warehouse staff.
I know, that's crazy. Like, you know, we don't know. That's what we're assuming is happening. You know, it's it's something along them lines. You know, so.
Well, you going by the UK prices here? Last I heard Garfield mention this, and the last time it was like some PS5s are selling for £1,000.
I over double the price, pure madness. Like,
yeah,
if you buy a disc one, it's £450, so you know £900 double the price, so £1,000 madness.
Yeah.
You know,
so you think of it this way: if they basically bought 30 of them £1,000, that's 30 grand. Gives the guy 10 grand.
I know.
And the warehouse is, you know, doing that
probably
for you.
Wouldn't even take that much. You probably give him £1,000.
2,000.
Whatever, you know.
And I imagine they've got a hold of 100 of them. You know, certain percent to the warehouse worker or the guy in charge or the delivery driver. Who knows?
But it's not even like as well. Like, you know, I mean, we're talking right. We'll go back to this article, but like, you know, they're having to come out in public. They say that the stock's going to be bad until this date. Like, you know, if it was normal and the stock was going to pick up soon, they're going to get more developed and or more made and out. You know, like they would just let it go and then just say to people, all right, they're coming soon. But like when they're publicly coming and saying that's going to be mid-21, like the stock must be really bad. Like that's.
Well, I think AMD I think
there's too much sort of.
Yeah, they got too much going out at once.
Mm-hmm. Like if you
they have
their GPUs, CPUs, 2 consoles of them, mostly, and multiple variations of them as well. Of the GPUs and CPUs. So that's probably why the stock's even worse than them. Whereas if you're developing a chip for an Xbox or a PlayStation, well, they've technically 4 chips, because obviously you have a Series S and a Series X, and then a PlayStation 5 chip's going to be the same either. It's just the disk drive's different. But like there's 3 variations, whereas if you go to the CPU, so you've got there's 4 different CPUs, plus there's different
CPUs is 5600, 5800, 5900, 5950.
Plus then you've got
graphics cards,
GPUs.
You're talking about what? The CS800, CS800 XT, CS900 XT. Then there was supposedly the CS700, which is...
Well, it's been delayed now, obviously.
Yeah.
If they can't make what they've got at the moment, there's no point in bringing on more out. To be honest with you, let's face it. If they can't fulfill current products that's released, then they shouldn't be doing any more until they get that.
It wasn't just that there too. I think there's other stuff involved. The company who makes the stuff for AMD, TSMC, supposedly they're now basically reducing their, other stuff for other companies.
But then if Microsoft knew, or Xbox knew this was coming to Microsoft and Sony, like they should have some sort of deal in place that they have to produce so much for them. They just can't backtrack and not. But then at the same time, are you thinking about this? Like, did Microsoft and Sony and AMD know before the console even come out that there's going to be this problem, but didn't say?
Could be.
They maybe knew this for 6 months or a year before. Like, this is what they could only produce. Plus, obviously Microsoft is in a worse position because if their console was only finalised, the feature set and stuff, in June of last year, so the console wasn't fully technically, ready to be mass produced at that stage. So they had even less time than Sony had to get consoles ready, produced and ready and made.
It's hard to tell. There's a lot of ifs and whats in it. Ifs and buts.
I still think that they knew to a degree. I don't know if they knew how the full story, but they obviously had a knew to a degree there's going to be shortages and stock issues up until some stage this year.
I think AMD should be looking into more try and build their own stuff and get their own factory sorted out for it.
Yeah. Next topic, Lee, or you have anything else you want to add in that one?
No, I can move on. If I continue on with the AMD talk, I just talk a bit more about the other stuff. I
know.
It's depressing as it is.
Right, we're sort of going back to like the earlier topic, so we're going back to talking about Microsoft is rumoured to be making another acquisition, and it's going to either be announced at the end of this year or early next year. Should maybe done a bit more research on this, but we'll wing it anyway. If we need to do another video, we can. So they're said that there's going to be another. Now Microsoft hasn't publicly said this. This is the rumours that there's a few insiders have said. So they're going to make another purchase on the same level as Bethesda, whether that's money wise or maybe the equivalents for IPs or something. I'm not sure yet. Who do you think would be in a similar price or
Rockstar?
No, they're making too. No, I disagree. I know what you're saying. No, they'd be worth more money. They would be looking too much to sell, dude.
Well, not really, because then GTA 5 has been out for.
Yes, but the amount of money that they're making on that online is shocking. This is ruining single player games. This online keeper because of this. You see, like if that had happened, we would have had a new GTA before this.
I know. I even did a remaster edition like San Andreas or something. That would be nice. But I would love remaster editions of Vice City and San Andreas.
No multiplayer, just a single player.
Yes, single player only.
They were single player only back in the day too. But
I know.
Right, back to this, Lee. Who do you think? who would you like them to buy, or do you have any ideas who it would be, or just want to throw out a few companies of guesses, or if Microsoft,
Sega could be one.
if Microsoft needed companies to put games on their Game Pass, who do you think would be a good purchase on that sort of level? I know we don't know values of companies, but if you had to sort of think of somebody, who would you like to win?
Namco or Sega would be pretty nice to get.
The only thing with Sega is, what have they really done? You were buying their old catalogue to put on there.
That's something nice to have.
I think they would probably make a deal with Sega rather than buy them, to maybe put, have all their old Sonic games or whatever into Game Pass. I think that would be a nice wee filler, like back catalogue. I personally think, but hey, look, I could be wrong. They could buy them. I don't think it was Sega.
I know who's going to be Barry.
Who?
Nintendo.
Nintendo will never sell, dude. Not on machine. No way. Never happen. Not on a month of Sundays or a million years.
I love to play Nintendo games on the Xbox or the PC.
True.
Technically you could, but for all the means.
But if you had them through cloud gaming on the Xbox, you could play. Imagine the catalog they had. Like, if they had built up a catalog and you could play on your handheld,
Did we not talk about that discussion, because I could keep going on about it.
Nah.
I find it disgrace that Nintendo never done that.
That'll be a topic. We'll maybe do that as podcast, so maybe just use that as a topic and do that. We'll let you run widely. But right, back to the question. Who would you like them to buy, or who do you think they could buy?
Well, there's one company, but unfortunately that company is it's probably traded. CD Projekt Red.
Publicly traded, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
It costs
That's
too much
saying,
money, unless they want bust over this game, and then they could buy them cheap.
Well, they are actually going to keep it.
well, the threats, not threats, but the lawsuits against them, they probably could be going bust. But anyway,
time will tell.
No, that would be a good one. They could maybe help that company progress into better games, and but I don't think it'll be them either, personally. What about? Can I throw a couple at you? Well, Capcom.
Capcom won't be too bad.
Square Enix. Now, I don't know what the value of these companies.
But the problem with Square Enix is they got a lot of PlayStation exclusives.
That would be an interesting one if Microsoft was to buy that, but will it not?
Yeah. See, imagine they got hold of that. They got hold of all the Final Fantasies, and they could probably upload most of them.
I think if they bought Square Enix, I don't think they would take them from PlayStation. Personally, I think they would bring the games they've lost out on to Xbox, but they're still.
That's what I'm thinking.
Capcom to me would be a nice one. Like, that would be a different variety of games in there. Don't know if it'll happen or not. Like, I don't know. Like, this is only me speculating.
I'll be honest with you. If they did buy Capcom, I hope they fits Monster Hunter.
Would you rather them, like, this rumour's obviously they're talking somebody on that same level, so say they're spending another $7.5 billion on another company, would you rather them buy it on one company, or would you rather them maybe pick out a nice few developers, two, instead of one massive one, well, obviously a massive one, but like, with maybe a few developers on it, or would you rather maybe pick and choose a nice couple of developers to give a bit of variety? To Xbox, rather than just like Bethesda's very RPG based. Would you want another company that would maybe be one trick?
Well,
I'm not saying they're one trick, but you know what I'm saying.
Variations.
Aye,
Capcom does do a lot of different variations of games, from action to
Monster Hunter to Resident Evil.
So that won't be too bad.
Is it Mega Man? No. I think it's Mega Man. They've a lot of old games they could bring back.
That's a lot of different games too. So. So.
Or do you think they can buy a Japanese developer? Now, I don't know any personally offhand that they could buy, but
that'd be very hard to buy from, because Sony has a lot of them locked down in contract, probably.
It's very hard to buy into the Japanese developers if you don't have your foot already on there, apparently.
Yeah.
But obviously, Bethesda, is it Tango Games? Or am I mistaken? There's one that's based in Japan. That's on, that they own through Bethesda,
So if they own Capcom, I wish they could
Monster
Hunter 2.
That would get them into the Japanese market, but because they're big, like obviously Monster Hunter and all in there. I can't think of anybody else. The only other one I can think of offhand that somebody mentioned, I don't know if that's true or not, is Namco Bandai. Is that the way you pronounce it?
Namco.
Like they do
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of Japanese style games, don't they?
They also have a lot of arcade games and so forth. They do a lot of the anime.
But would they be up on that level as Bethesda? That's my only question.
Technically yes, and technically no. In Japan, they're probably more up in the level, but in the world, they're
Do you,
probably around CD Project Red.
do you think that Microsoft in this sort of level, they need to have a company that does a bit of both rather than all here or all Japan? They need to be a mixture.
See, the biggest problem Namco, they do a lot of the anime related games or the manga and so forth.
Yeah.
But also the bigger issue there is getting translated. Then also the
But
controls
then
and so
Microsoft
forth.
have got the technology, like they have their translate.
That's what I'm saying.
They have the power, and within their own company, the stuff the translator that they've got to implement them in games. So
Microsoft has the technology to make the games a lot better and probably to enhance them to make them more, should I say, worldwide available. You go on the same, you can see a lot of the Namco games on there, so it won't be too hard. A lot of those games do sell well because, well, there's a lot of anime and manga fans out there.
I don't. Another one that they threw away I forgot to mention was Ubisoft.
Yeah, that's iffy.
I don't think it would happen either, but that would be an interesting one. Like that, they're very. But then
They're not the ones.
you're back into like sort of RPG style games again. You need something open world RPG style. Like I think you need, because they've got Bethesda and they've got that, open world RPGs as well. They need something different. They need a variety more. I don't know if it would be or not. I know they have a lot of diverse games as well, but they're all that similar style. They're all similar to a degree.
What about THQ? Have they still making games?
Oh, they're merged. THQ Nordic it's called now. So them two companies I think have merged. I don't think their games quality have been greatly, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm holding one of the games in my hand right now.
They make all is it Dark Souls or not Dark Souls? Darksiders. Games like that. I think there's a sale on Xbox. I mean, if like Darksiders and all on it and stuff. And there's a lot of games. I was looking through it quickly, and I was like, there's nothing really appealing, dude.
See, because I'm holding an old THQ and also made by Hint.
Was it THQ made just, the game?
Yep.
See,
I did, yes.
That's back then, but you see now, like the companies, like they were bought over, and it's not the same.
Yeah, I'm holding just two Hot Import Nights.
That was good.
I enjoyed playing that game. I love just betting on things. I won a whole shit ton of money in it. You thought I was cheating too. That's what I was laughing at. I mean, you was just betting away and making money.
Is there any other companies you can think of? Like, I can't think of anything that's sort of that. It's trying to think of companies in that caliber, price, or
Gearbox.
Gearbox. Do you think? Well, I don't know.
Well, Borderlands 3 didn't exactly do that well, and they're doing a shitstorm with another season pass. I think Gearbox needs to be redone again, because I love the first Borderlands. I love the second Borderlands. You see my hours I played on them just pissing about. But the third one, I don't know. I just can't get into it.
Yeah. I don't know about Gearbox now. They don't have that many different IPs now, do they?
I know, but it'd be another company worth buying, or maybe look into later on. If I were Microsoft. But Borderlands is not a bad game. It's a good, series of games.
No, I was just trying to look up there quickly to see if I could see the value, just to see what they would be, if they're in that range or not. Gearbox, do they want that Aliens Colonial Marines? I don't know. I can't even see what the value of the company is. Yeah, I'm not sure about them.
Opinion is probably going between Camco, Namco, and probably out there Square X or Enix, or whatever you call it.
Like Square Enix was a part of what was the company called that made like the Tomb Raider before they bought them over?
See, I seem that Spring Commander was also involved with Square X and stuff. That's an odd game that Microsoft owned. So they already had their foot in the door with them. They already made games with them. So that's why I'm fighting. Maybe they try to buy the companies they work with.
See, Microsoft, when they buy studios, like they have a tendency to buy studios that they have a relationship with.
That's what I'm saying. Square X, it done. What game was it? I have Spring Commander, but I can't mind which one.
I think maybe more recent years. You know, if they've had a relationship with them. Like I know back in the Xbox One near the start, remember they brought out the Tomb Raider game that was exclusive for a year, and that was through Square Enix. So that's potential, but
yeah,
I don't think they've had much relationship since then. You know, there hasn't been much exclusive content that I'm aware of.
Well, it'd be nice to see them try to do more. I love to try and see more games that's just better off, but
I honestly, they could buy anybody. I just don't know who it would be. That you could guess and guess and guess, and you know, like in that caliber, like you know, it's hard to know. I'm not sure. I think it's just going to be one we're going to have to wait and see to hear who it is. You know, you could guess anybody at the end of the day. You still there?
Yeah, I just clicked on something and I'm shocked by it. It's nothing related to Xbox. It's about something you can't buy, but I've seen it for sale.
Right.
At a decent price.
Graphics card?
Yeah. MSI Gaming X Trio, 780 quid. 3080.
It's not too bad, is it?
Yeah, so don't want to talk anymore because we're talking about the Xbox right now.
We're up to over an hour here, so we finished off. There's only 3 topics left, Lee. So I think we can agree we don't know who it is, but we sort of threw a few names out there, and maybe it'll be one, maybe it'll not. Maybe we missed somebody that could be. Right. Do you want to add any other thoughts? Are you happy enough with that?
I'm happy enough. I already say what I had to say on it.
So I'm going to leave that one down. So I'm going to ask this one first. So I'm going to go to this middle topic. So Xbox controllers have brought out a Shock Blue, and now they're bringing out a Pulse Red. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts on it, I want the blue one. I'm not fussed on the red one. I know some people like it, but cool. I prefer the blue. And I also want you to give me your blue one.
I think it's good that they're trying something new and bringing out different things and getting people excited about the console. My only thing is, I keep thinking, every time I see the blue and the red now, I keep thinking of obviously Sega.
Yeah, Sonic and Mario.
Aye, you know, obviously it's like sort of.
When they bring out a green one and it's the same colour as Yoshi, then I might believe you.
Are they teasing something? They're probably not, but like it doesn't help to think. Are they teasing something that something's coming?
Well,
like,
dude,
you know.
Can I ask a question? When they bring out a green one, you know, look like egg, you know, mostly white with green dots, you know, Yoshi egg. Or they bring out a white one with red dots, that's Toad's head.
Well, we obviously talked earlier about the Sega acquisition. You think they could buy them? I personally don't think that they probably will. I think they might make a deal to bring their games to Game Pass. I know what you're saying, but when I see this, it just makes me think that could there be something? Now, it'll probably never happen with Nintendo, but it'd be nice.
So I was right about Nintendo then.
What?
I was right about Nintendo. Microsoft going to buy them.
Well, hey, you could be right. You could, buy in Sega and Nintendo and merge it all into Xbox. But
I don't think Microsoft have that kind of money.
Now, listen to me here a second. I think we touched on this. We talked about this on our night, but like this will probably never happen. But imagine if Microsoft was able to not acquire them, but make a deal with them that all the old classics are on Sega and Nintendo. Like you've got your Mario and your Sonic and whatever else, like all them coming to Game Pass. How would you feel about that?
playing Duck
considering
Hunt on a $2,000 PC.
considering Microsoft, like, imagine like you like playing things on your phone, right? So if you had Game Pass, right? Say if you had Game Pass and you had the option to play Sonic or Mario on that, on your phone or your PC or your Xbox or anywhere you wanted, would that not be amazing? I know we're out of the side of the realm of possibility here, but to me, I think that would be class. And
I have mixed feelings.
Yeah, right, go for it. Tell me your feelings.
Well, I would love it to happen, but it will never happen because I know Nintendo is ruthless in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
I wish Nintendo had made their own version of their own basic online store for any phone to play. But unfortunately, they don't do it.
Mm-hmm. No.
Which kind of sucks because I wish I can play some of the older games on my phone. Like most mobile phones is overkill for Nintendo games. Like, can you imagine playing like Zelda Windwalker, I think it is?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It was before the GameCube or the N64 Zelda on your phone without using other means like emulators and so forth, just straightly from Nintendo itself.
Mm-hmm.
You pay a subscription fee or you can buy the games directly.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever one, I think the subscription fee one might work out better if you can basically play the games, any games you want, basically.
Anywhere you want. Does it sound familiar?
Oh no, I'm not a fan of online subscription services myself, but if Nintendo does it with the old games,
if there's a proper service and the content that you liked, you would probably do it within reason.
I would say, but up until the Wii, no, GameCube, and the 3DS.
Mm-hmm. You're getting very off topic to my question, Lacey, or you're bringing a lot of variations and different things in here.
Yes, I know, but Microsoft will never get it. Sega one, I maybe can see quicker.
I'm not saying. Imagine this was an ideal world and it happened. Do you not think that would be class? And they were teasing this with these two controllers.
Good. Until I see another green one or orange one, Tails and Luigi or Yoshi colors, I'm not going to say anything.
But to me, them are the two sort of most iconic colors from them two, companies, for Mario and Sonic.
I've seen my most iconic
blue for Sonic, red for Mario.
Sonic, or no. My most iconic games from Nintendo was Zelda and Pokemon.
If you were to talk to 100 people, what's the chances that most people would say them two characters are from Nintendo and Sega? I'm just talking about the overall, you're to me, you're different because you would sort of think of different things than other people would. But if you were taking the general consensus,
why you trying to say I'm a weirdo?
You're unique. We'll say that. But
if I'm unique, what are you?
I'm just a geek. But anyway, but like I'm just
saying, I do know what you mean. The blue and red does hint
to that
something.
If they brought out a Shock Blue, now they've brought out a Shock or a Pulse Red, whether they bring out another color or not, but imagine if that led into something, for like something, to come of it, that would be interesting. Now I don't think it's going to happen, but Sega's side it could happen quicker than it will ever happen on Nintendo's side, but it would be interesting, Or is this a hint for something else that we're maybe not thinking of? We're outside, we're in the wrong direction.
CD Projekt Red?
Maybe. CD Projekt Red, what would be blue?
EA?
The Witcher would be red colour, wouldn't it?
EA?
No, Cyberpunk's not red. That's more yellow colour, orange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not sure.
See, I have the icons on my computer somewhere. Witcher's more of a greyish with red eyes.
Well, red, obviously, but... But, I don't know, just thought I thought throw it in there. I'm
talking about the name of the company, like CD Projekt Red.
Is there any company?
Then EA is the blue logo.
I don't think they'll buy EA, personally. I don't think they'll touch that company.
Yeah, it's a mess.
I think the company is more higher valued than the likes of Bethesda, but to me, it's not a company that I'd be interested in anyway, because they haven't really done anything. Like, I used to like Need for Speed. Haven't played one in years because of it. The last one I bought, they done like a Need for Speed revamp one wasn't revamped, obviously. It was just Need for Speed, they call it. But it was like a newer version, and it just didn't have the same appeal. And since then, I haven't really played any of them.
I think the last Need for Speed game I played was Need for Speed Underground for the GameCube.
And I don't play any of the sports games, so the company.
I used to love the boxing game they had out in years ago. I played on the original PlayStation.
The only games
it was fun.
The only games you probably agree with me that EA would bring out, but that's not, they don't make them, is the like Dragon Age and stuff, and they made Mass Effect. And was there something else? Am I imagining it?
But yeah, there was another one I like, but you don't like it.
What's that? From BioWare or from EA?
Oh, can you remember the name? I have it too. It's the big mega ones.
Oh, I don't think that's my cup of tea. Like, is that like them mecha ones or something? Or
yeah, basically like massive Gundams kind of idea.
Buffing
ones and Gundams.
There. But like that's when a company. Now, obviously, in recent years, the games haven't done as well. Like, you know, some of them, they brought out that Mass Effect game there recently, and they brought out Anthem, and they didn't hold the same appeal.
Sure,
well, it's still there, but they have a smaller team apparently working on it. So they're not really. I don't think
they're on it.
No, there's no focus. I don't think they're making any new content, but it's more just to keep, like, for the people who are playing it. You know, they're just sort of keeping it online and fixing any bugs and stuff. I don't think there's anything major coming out for it, as far as I'm aware. But it just didn't do well. And the last game for me that they made was obviously Dragon Age Inquisition was good. And since that, the company hasn't done much, to be honest with you. Now, some people were a bit hit and miss with that one, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. You know, I played through it and I really liked it, you know.
I have it. Me and you meant to play it together, but you never want to play it.
Will we play co-op and stream it? How would that suit you? And we'll get I get what I want and you get what you want. Right, Lee, I don't think that was just a more of a wee throw-on topic there I was putting on, which is maybe with the next two as well. We'll move on to it, will we?
Yeah.
So this is just a question I've put in. This is not an article I've read. So I just want to throw this in because I just want to ask you. So if you had to choose, so if you got a new game and it gave you two options, this is just me saying this. So it gave you two options in it. Would you prefer to play at 4K 60 with no ray tracing or 4K 30 with ray tracing? What would you rather have?
Personally, 2K 120.
No. New consoles, this is what games are playing at. This is why I've sort of thrown into this. You always, I know, throw a spanner in the works. I can do that too, like, but if you had to pick an option, what would you rather have, with or without the ray tracing? Would you rather higher frames and no ray tracing?
Ray tracing is still not a proven technology. It's still in the early days, in my opinion. I prefer to play 4K 60.
I know ray tracing. I'll I come from. I know I play PC really, but I come from, like, you know, playing the Xbox and the PlayStation. I come from a generation of 4K 30. You know, obviously there's no ray tracing in them, so, but you see when you start to play 4K 60 and there's a steady frame rate of 60 in it. So I played, what was it, Immortals, Phoenix Rise, and I played Assassin's Creed, and obviously Gears of War. And see when you play them games and you get used to that. See when you go to play, like I played, what do you call it, Watch Dogs Legions. And it's 4K 30 with ray tracing, and it feels weird, dude. It doesn't feel right. It's nearly like, you know, because you're seeing half the frames. It's nearly like not slow motion, but it doesn't feel nowhere near as smooth. It's weird. It's very hard to get back to it when you get used to something. You know, like, you know, I'd say if I had HDR and all of the bells and whistles for the new consoles, I would say it'd be hard to go back to normal TV. You know, similar idea. I don't know. 4K 60 is for me. I don't think 4K 60 with ray tracing will ever happen on consoles. The current consoles, I don't think there's enough technology there, considering you can't even buy a PC that'll run 4K 60 with ray tracing. With the newer games, I'm not saying, you know, if a game's been out a while, but like even what we were saying, I'd read somewhere, what was it game? There's a game they were trying, I think it was even Cyberpunk, right? With the 3090, dude. You can't play 4K 60 with ray tracing with the 3090 at £1,500.
Yeah.
You know, so you can't expect a £450 console to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but for what the £450 can do, it's amazing. But personally, I prefer the 4K 60. So I would. But it depends. Like, some people likes having the new technology, see the ray tracing. It's pretty cool, but I could live without it for now. I would rather the 60 frames any day.
I know what you mean. I prefer to have just 60 frames, sadly. At least I know it's working.
Yeah, and it's more smoother, responsive experience. Like, it just feels better, and your eyes get used to it better. You know, I'm trying to get back to 30. I must if you're down sometime, like if this lockdown ever sorts out and get you down and let you play a couple of games and then try, you know, the Watch Dogs Legions to see what I mean. You know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I must try.
Right, well, we wrap this up with the final topic, and then we'll maybe get a wee game on Gears of War 5 then, if you're happy enough. So, my last topic is, do you think there will be a mid-gen console, Xbox console, well, you could even enter just PlayStation if you want as well. Do you think there's going to be mid-gen consoles in this generation of consoles?
Not anytime soon. I think it'd be another, 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 years in general retrospect.
So, you think there will be a mid-gen console in this generation?
Yes. At some time, but not right now.
I'm sort of on the fence. So I'm sort of at the start of the generation. I'm still thinking no, because I think the specs have been a lot boosted since last console. I think there's enough there to keep them going for that 5, 6, 7 years. But I know they might do like variations and maybe we bump up, you know, but I don't think it's going to be like from a 1 to a 1X. You know, from previous gen, I think it's going to be more like a 1 to a 1S, you know, like wee enhancements and maybe slimmed or, you know, something minor. I don't think it's going to be like that much of a bump. You know what I mean? Because the technology they put into them now, like if they were to do a Pro version or an X or, you know, like an X or whatever, an X Pro or whatever, like, you know, like that's a big bump. You know, they're not going to be 1.5 times or whatever. You know what we have at the minute. I think it's a bit unrealistic, to be honest with you. I think there might be some sort of upgrade. You know, like maybe minor tweaks to the clock speeds, or you know, maybe tweak the CPU, bigger hard drive. Microsoft might go down the route, maybe a bit faster hard drive. I don't know. I can't see it, but like, I'm just saying it's going to be minor tweaks, not like this big thing that, you know, they come from the 1 to the 1X. That's my personal opinion. Technically, I still don't think they need to do it either, because there's enough power there that would see them through a generation. You know,
there's enough power there, but I'm just talking about maybe something you come out, or they just might want to add it, or just change the design of the console, more cool color,
slim version or something, or a better cooling, or more refined. You know, but I don't think it's going to be
hard drive
power increase.
It's not going to be a full overhaul. I think it's going to be just maybe a boost in certain aspects, and just enhancement.
Yeah.
More than anything, it's not going to be a complete overhaul. But Sony might have to do overhaul quicker.
We'll have to see.
Don't have to see with that console, in my own opinion.
I personally, if I could get 2 black plates and replace that white, that would make it a bit nicer at least.
Can you not remove the 2 sides?
You can, but you need a plate for it. Well, I know you can paint them, but I don't really like doing that. I'd rather keep the originals to have the originals and buy a, you know,
go on eBay then and look for side panels.
Somebody's might have made them. You know, I know there's a company that's going to bring them out, and Sony actually shut it down that they couldn't sell them.
Why?
I don't know. I think Sony have something planned. To be quite honest with you, I think they
because
but they'll charge a fortune for them.
Yeah. And off topic about, for instance, the 2 wee storage boxes in the floor of my car in the back seat. If I went to Peugeot to try to get the tops and replaced, it would cost me near £600. Well, I went on there. There was nothing actually strong with the rest of them. That's for a complete replacement for everything, including the carpet. But if I went on to eBay and find a guy he made, you know, MDF versions that just painted black, all the right cutouts on them. Cost me £15 with a £5 voucher from eBay.
Happy days.
I know.
Couldn't beat that with a big stick.
And guess what? They're far better than the actual standard ones.
Probably, but that's, you know, the quality can be made better. maybe more.
Oh, the quality was terrible. It was a piece of plastic with carpet on top.
It
was
the
easily
quality of the
broke.
MDF one could be better, you know, than the original.
Oh, it was superior.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it probably is people trying to admit them, but as you say, Sony's shutting them down.
I think they have some planned. I think they want to get in there and sell them for a stupid price.
Oh, they probably got limited edition ones coming out with special games, if you know what I mean.
There you go. So instead of you buying a new console, so that's, you know, you take the plate off and you could buy the game with a plate. Do you know what I mean? Then you can put that plate on while you're playing the game. Never thought of that until now. But anyway, so we're sort of in agreement there that we're going to well, you're probably thinking they probably more will have. I'm still sort of on the fence. You know, if they do it, that's what they'll do. But I don't think they need to do it. You know, but we'll have to wait and see. You happy enough, Lee? Any other comments on any of the topics, or will we wrap her up there now? We've been on for an hour and 25 minutes. I think that's been our longest one yet, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so hope you liked any of the topics we've had here, and if you want to leave a wee comment below, you can. Hope you enjoyed this conversation, the bit that we have, and I'll see you all in the next one. See you all later.
Alright now, bye.
Bye.